Hello, so my name is Karen. I am the owner and founder over at Continuum Counselling, and today we are going to do the meditation practice of settling, grounding, resting. Now, this is a lovely introductory practice, so if you've perhaps never done any mindfulness meditations before, that's absolutely fine. This is a great way to ease yourself into practice. So over at Continuum, we offer counselling and counselling supervision to other practitioners, and I'm also a qualified mindfulness meditation teacher. So I often will lead practices and can teach people how to meditate and become more mindful in their day-to-day lives. So if that's something you're interested in, by all means, give us a follow. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, both at Continuum Counselling. And along with this video, there is also an invitation to join my newsletter, which means that you can keep up to date with what I'm offering. And in return for your sign up, you also get a copy of 30 free journal prompts to help support you with your mindfulness and mental health. So, yes, tonight, as I say, we are going to do a practice of settling, grounding, resting. And my invitation for this practice would be to find a space that feels comfortable and supportive for your practice. So that might be a seated practice, it might be lying down. Pick a space that feels comfortable and supportive for your body. Now, I'll give you a moment or two to find a space that you feel comfortable in. Our practice is going to take us around 15 minutes today, so make sure it's somewhere that you won't be disturbed and that you feel comfortable enough for the next 15 minutes. You might also want to grab a blanket or throw on a jumper, because often we'll find as we get into a space of relaxation, the body very naturally will start to cool down a little bit. So, yeah, go ahead and find a space that feels supportive for your practice, and then we'll get started. My invitation for this practice is to gently close the eyes over. If though that doesn't feel comfortable for any reason, then simply just take a downward gaze towards the floor. So we want to give the eyes an opportunity to just find a space of resting. And as we do that, just give yourself a second to check in and notice how your body feels right now. Perhaps notice if there's any areas of tightness or tension, any parts of the body that might need lifted or laid, just to allow them to become a little more comfortable. And as we settle into our practice today, I'll invite you to set an intention for this meditation practice. And that intention might be simply to become more mindful. It might be to feel a little more relaxed. So just notice what you might need from this mindfulness meditation session. And perhaps also tuning in to your motivation for the practice. What's brought you into this space today? And as we clarify both our intention and our motivation, you can just let go of them. You don't need to hold on to them. Just trust that they're set and they're out there. And with the next in breath, the invitation is to see if you can lengthen it just a little. So taking a slightly deeper in breath. And then as you breathe out, see if you can bring about the qualities of releasing and relaxing with that out breath. So noticing how the breath feels as it goes slightly further down into the tummy. And then with the out breath, just release and relax and allow the body to become softer and more at ease. So take a few breaths like that. So deeper down into the tummy, releasing and relaxing on that out breath. Just notice how the body starts to feel. Just simply slow things down a little bit. And then on the next breath, just allow it to return to whatever feels natural and normal for you. So we're not doing anything with the breath any longer. We're just allowing it to return to a natural, normal pace that supports your practice. And as the body begins to settle into our practice today, perhaps just become aware of the sensations of the surface below you. So if you're on a seat, perhaps just notice the sensations of contact between the seat and you. Or if you're lying down, again, perhaps just notice the areas that you notice yourself being in contact with the surface below you. So perhaps your back, backs of the legs, the heels of the feet. Just notice how the body feels completely supported in this moment. And notice how, as we've slowed the body down with our breath, we might start to feel a little more heavy or grounded in our practice. So as the mind becomes a wee bit slower and more relaxed, the body responds to and it begins to soften and become just a little bit more gentle. And the mind will inevitably start to wander off into thoughts and thinking. That's okay. Whenever you notice that the mind has wandered off, just gently guide it back by becoming aware of your breath again. And some people find it helpful to count with their breath. So breathing in to the count of 3, 4, or 5, and breathing out to the same count of 3, 4, or 5. And it just gives the mind something to focus its attention on. See how that feels to just rest in this space. Focus on the breath to the count of 3, 4, or 5. If perhaps counting doesn't work for you, if you don't feel like that's the right support for your practice, some people find it helpful to use the phrase breathing in and breathing out. So again, see what feels more natural for you. And notice how, as we do this, the mind is focusing on two things at the one time. So we're aware of the breath, and at the same time, we're also holding a focus on our counting or phrases. And each time that mind wanders off into thoughts or thinking, Perhaps wondering what we're doing next. Just recognise that it's wandered off, and all we have to do is just simply guide it back towards that next inhale, reaffirming or counting our phrases, breathing in and breathing out. And now we move into the resting phase of our practice today. So that means that we can let go of any counting or phrases and just allow the body and mind to both rest in this space, in the moment that we're in. Where we've nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Just being present in this moment. Just notice how the body feels in this moment. And we allow it permission to just be here. How calm the mind can become when we give it permission not to have to be busy. Just notice that today we have managed to create the causes and conditions, the space for ourselves to feel that sense of rest and relaxation. And as we start to move towards the end of our practice, we bring to mind a sense of gratitude or appreciation for the space that we're in, for our practice today. And perhaps ask that any benefits we receive from our practice, so anything that we find that comes from this session today, that those benefits be shared with those we love and people around us in ever widening circles. And as we mark the end of our practice, we might want to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Perhaps start to extend our awareness out into the room round about us. And whenever you feel ready to do so, we can just simply open our eyes. Thank you for joining me for our practice session. Hopefully that was of benefit to you. I would recommend that as and when you need it, you can check back in with this practice. And yeah, I'd love to hear how you get on with it. So any questions, comments, feedback, reflections, yeah, pop them over to me. As I say, I am on both Instagram and Facebook, which is at Continuum Counselling. And my website is just continuumcounselling.com. So from my heart to yours, namaste.